Wait, let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who earns $30,000 a year, but somehow spends $8,000 in a single month? Not on rent, not on food, but on clothes, gadgets, and things they don't actually need. And when you check their credit card balance, you discover something shocking. $47,000 in debt. $47,000. Now here is the disturbing part. They know they are broke. They know their financial situation is getting worse, but they keep spending anyway. Last week, that same person walked into a shopping mall. He had $200 in his bank account. $200. But he walked out with $800 worth of clothes. And when someone asked him why, his answer was terrifying. He said,
"I don't know, I just felt like I needed it."
Now pause for a moment, because this story is not unique. Millions of people around the world are doing the exact same thing. In fact, statistics show something shocking. The average person spends about 20% more money than they actually earn. That means if someone earns $100, they spend $120. And the difference between those numbers is debt, credit cards, loans, and financial stress that slowly destroys their future. But here's the real question. Why? Why do people spend money they do not have? Are they irresponsible? Are they bad with money? Or is something deeper happening inside the human brain? The truth is, this behavior is psychological. And once you understand the psychology behind spending, everything begins to make sense. Because when you buy something, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. It is the same chemical released when people gamble, when they win money, and even when they take addictive drugs. Your brain literally treats shopping like a reward. You walk into a store. You see something shiny. Your brain whispers something dangerous.
This will make you happy.
And when you swipe your card, dopamine is released. Excitement, pleasure. For a moment, you feel amazing. But here is the dangerous part. The pleasure happens immediately. But the consequences happen later. The credit card bill arrives weeks later. The debt accumulates slowly. The stress appears months later. And the human brain is terrible at thinking about the future. Psychologists call this present bias. Your brain prioritizes immediate rewards over future consequences. So even when you logically know something is a bad financial decision, your brain still pushes you to do it. Because right now, dopamine feels better than discipline. Now let's talk about another powerful psychological effect. Spending creates the illusion of control. Imagine someone whose life feels chaotic. Maybe they hate their job. Maybe their relationship is falling apart. Maybe they feel powerless in their daily life. When they walk into a store and buy something, they suddenly feel powerful. They made a decision. They controlled something, even if it is just buying a pair of shoes. That moment creates a temporary sense of control. And the brain loves that feeling. So people begin using spending as emotional therapy. Feeling stressed? Go shopping. Feeling depressed? Buy something. Feeling insecure? Upgrade your lifestyle. But the feeling does not last. So the brain repeats the behavior again, and again, and again. Now here is something marketers understand extremely well. People do not buy products. They buy identity. Someone buying a luxury watch is not buying time. They are buying the identity of being successful. Someone buying designer shoes is not buying footwear. They are buying the identity of being stylish. Someone buying a luxury car is not buying transportation. They are buying status. And identity is powerful. Humans want to feel respected. They want to feel admired. They want to feel important. So when someone cannot afford the identity they desire, they buy it using credit. Credit cards allow people to experience wealth without actually being wealthy. Your brain does not care if the money is borrowed. It only sees the result. You bought the expensive thing. You must be successful. Dopamine again. Now add social media to this equation. Every day people scroll through images of luxury lifestyles, expensive vacations, designer clothing, perfect lives. And even though most of it is exaggerated, your brain still processes it as reality. So you begin comparing yourself to everyone else. You feel behind. You feel like you are missing out. That feeling is called FOMO, fear of missing out. And FOMO is one of the most powerful psychological forces in modern society. People spend money they do not have, just to feel like they belong. For many individuals, shopping becomes emotional escape. They feel lonely, they feel anxious, they feel stressed, and buying something temporarily removes those feelings. This is known as retail therapy. But just like any addiction, the relief is temporary. Soon the dopamine fades, the sadness returns, and the only way to feel better again is to buy something new. So the cycle continues. Spend, feel good, regret, repeat. Now here is the disturbing truth. Corporations know all of this. They study human psychology intensely. They know exactly how your brain reacts to rewards, scarcity, and social proof. That is why advertisements use phrases like limited time offer, only a few left, everyone is buying this. These messages trigger urgency and fear of missing out. Even the design of shopping malls, the lighting, the music, the product placement are carefully engineered to increase spending. This system is not accidental. It is strategic. There is another psychological trap called the sunk cost fallacy. Once people begin spending, it becomes difficult to stop. Imagine someone spends $200 at a store. They feel guilty. But instead of stopping, they think, well, I already spent $200. What is another $100? The psychological barrier disappears, and spending continues. Slowly, debt accumulates. Now here is the final truth. The financial system actually profits from your debt. Banks earn billions from interest payments. Credit card companies generate enormous profits from people who cannot pay their balances. Marketing companies profit from convincing people to buy things they do not need. The system benefits when people spend more than they earn, which means financial discipline is actually a form of rebellion. Because the system wants you distracted, impulsive, emotionally driven. But awareness changes everything. Once you understand these psychological traps, you begin to recognize them. And when you recognize them, you regain control. So the next time you feel the urge to buy something, pause for a moment. Ask yourself one question. Do I actually need this? Or is my brain chasing dopamine? Because once you see the system clearly, it loses its power over you. And that awareness is the first step toward financial freedom.